Well, have some exciting changes coming over to this area. This came from a cutting from actually over here. These have seen better days. There's still some cleanup that needs to happen, but all of this is ticked seed. This started as like 2 little plants and it's just kind of grown and filled in. We've been able to also add them over here in these areas. Still a little bit of cleanup over here and also this area. And so that's been just a plant that keeps on giving. So it loves its spot and it's recovering from an anthill situation over here. Brian had to redo all of these stones from the storm and kind of regrade this gravel. So almost done with cleanup and resetting up. You can tell some of them are a little uneven, but honestly, once the Monarda starts to put on some growth, it honestly will cover most of that. So anyway, we also had here a Daisy May from Proven Winners. What we're going to do is actually move this Daisy May back over to kind of its original home. We need to retool this area, not the entire thing, but it incurred a lot of damage. And we're actually going to put that Daisy May back here. See where that rock is? We're going to put it in this area for now. There were 3 here. Actually, there were 5. 3 made it, and I think it was a soil issue prior. And so, but from the storm, the oak tree landed on the majority of this, and I don't think any Daisy Mays, the other 2 Daisy Mays that were here made it. We will see, but that other one can certainly go right here for now. There's another Daisy May. These are some lantana, and we obviously lost an anchor plant right here. This was a Laura Pedlum, and I loved it. It was constantly just beautiful and shining, but honestly, it did get a little big for this space, and but I do want something that covers this cord here. And so I think an evergreen of some kind that can fill this space would be really pretty. We're still on the fence about these lantanas. My mom has a lot of gold lantanas, and so we might bring those over to her. But we do love them, but we really like the Cosmo Royale better, and because of its growing shape. This one definitely is more like spreading and sprawling. And the Cosmos, which there's one right here, and don't mind the cleanup areas or my shadow, and there's one right here, and that really has like a really pretty like mounding shape, and so versus like the kind of sprawling shape, which I like stuff over like coming over the rocks, but it loves its spot, and so it is very vigorous. But you can see here some of the idea that I had for the Daisy Mays, but this is kind of what's made it from the storm after its first season. And so we're just going to kind of retool this section here, but in the meantime, that Daisy May can go here. And this is why there was a squirrel. Cody is going to protect us. My goodness. The reason I'm sharing that bed with you currently is because this is going back over there, and I just showed you why. And then we're going to basically be able to kind of bring in a little bit more soil, regrade this down a little bit, and bump this. This actually was level and had stones under it. Again, got knocked in the storm, but hey, I think there's still life in that blueberry bush, so we're just excited about that. But basically, this blueberry bush is going to come down and fill in this spot right here. So it'll be tick seed, Monarda, and then the blueberry bush right here. And the reason we're doing that is because this flag right here, it may be bumped back just a little bit, maybe like right here. But basically, I have another Cosmo lantana that is actually right here. Let's see if you can see it. It's already starting to kind of green up just a little bit, and we're trying to catch it before it starts to put on too much growth. But these sticks, it's kind of hard to differentiate, but I think you can see that green in there. So these sticks right here, that is the Cosmo, y'all, it's like a 5-name lantana. It's like Cosmo Royale Luscious series from Proven Winners. They're absolutely gorgeous. The Cosmo Royale is my favorite, but that is this area had to be retooled from the storm, and this was actually where it was before the storm, and we just kind of put some other plants by it just to kind of make it flow and make it work. But it's actually a little too big for this spot now that we've retooled it in this way. And so what we're going to do is move this guy right over here where the pink flower is, pink flag is. So basically we'll have the yellow of the tick seed, the yellow of the tick seed, the beautiful like dark purple pink, it's really like a beautiful fuchsia color Monarda, and then the blueberry bush container, and then the Cosmo Royale right here. And so that'll be, I think, really, really pretty. So this, I suppose, is the before shot, before those changes take place. And I did really like it here, but you can see we kind of use this area here as a walkway, and it gets too big. We were able to keep it there through a season, through the fall, before we had to cut it back, honestly, just because it took some damage in from the storm, and we didn't want to like shock it anymore by moving it. And so we just kind of limbed up the damaged branches, and then just kind of made this kind of like a U-shaped walkway, which we do want, but the lantana gets pretty large, and so it's just not the right spot for it. Maybe if it was like up closer, but I really want to create this little moment with the lion and the lamb and the angel, kind of fill this spot right here, have some phlox. Hopefully this will make it. I have the phlox in front of it. That's a purple Sprite phlox. It doesn't look the best right now because, again, it had an oak tree land on it, but you know, hopefully it'll pull through. It's the purple Sprite one that I have in a couple other spaces in our garden, and it's really pretty. And then this is a hydrangea. It was given to me. We were supporting a local ministry, and I don't remember the name of this hydrangea, but it's supposed to bloom like 3 different colors throughout the year, and like spring or summer all the way into fall. So for like 9 months out of the year, it's supposed to bloom for us. This was a baby plant from 2. We had like 2 like mother plants, and one, basically this one was a baby from one of the other ones. Those were never able to bloom for us. I don't know if it was just the soil or the amount of sun or not enough sun or whatever, but we've never been able to get those to bloom. But Brian's really rooting for this one, so I told him it has another season, you know, to show proof of life and to bloom for us. Otherwise, if it's not blooming, excuse Cody, he's got to protect us from who knows what. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because there's some construction being done next door, and he's gonna let me know about it. So anyway, this one is starting to grow back leaves. Leaves have never been the problem for this variety of hydrangea. However, we've never been able to get it to bloom. So we will see. It's got one more season to pull through. Per Kelly, per Brian, it'll be fine, and it'll bloom. So we shall see. But anyway, that's where the Cosmo is going to end up going, and the blueberry bush is going to be bumped forward about here level and be next to the bee-balm Monarda and the tick seed. Guys, we have carrots popping up. If you can see the green. Just starting to pop up in this lawn. Oh, there's another. Here's some more. Right there. They're little babies right now, but ideally they will produce lots of carrots. Some of them are just getting started. You can see the line, and some are popping up. which is exciting. Y'all, I'm so excited. I was walking inside and on my way spotted, well, of course I now spot a weed, but, well, and several others, but look, this shot up. It's our yarrow, and we got this at a local church community garden, and just, this was clippings from someone's garden. I could see why. I did not realize this was going to create this situation of more babies. But oh my goodness, I'm so excited to see the stalk pop up. We've really struggled with things that do well in this garden bed. It's a lot of clay. We've continued to try to amend the soil, but it's a lot of clay, and it's just hard for anything to grow. But we are getting things that are starting to thrive in this bed, and once this is fully covered in mulch, it'll look fresh and clean and tidy. But y'all, this is gonna be so pretty. All right, so Brian was able to button some of this up before I even had a chance to get out here. He did it while I went away on a trip to Atlanta, and so, man, maybe I should head out to Atlanta more often. Anyway, Brian bumped this up, tried to level it out pretty good just with some bricks that we had, and then filling this in with some soil. This Monarda bee balm is going to continue to grow and expand, so ideally it fills this whole area in. And then also we probably will bump that up just a little bit more, but basically we were able to move the blueberry bush up. The other thought on this was, if we bumped it up a little bit more than like the actual like blueberry bush part of it, we don't want like too into the walkway, because it is taller, and so it would be like an arm's length, and so we wouldn't want that to be in the way either. So I may end up leaving it just the way it is, which I think Brian would definitely be a fan of. So we have the tick seed, the Monarda, the bee balm. We used to have this all filled with pine straw. That's a really common mulch here in the South, because pine straw is aplenty. And I think he just put this here just to kind of fill in this area. So you can see he put in a little bit of pine straw, and it blends in with the mulch. This mulch is all from the oak tree that did not make it from the storm. And then also you can see, I mean, this is the lantana we were able to move. He was able, let me correct that, he did this completely on his own. He moved the Cosmo lantana right over here. It was over here behind, right here in this area, behind the lion and the lamb and the angel. And what I'll probably do is like bump this back like a little bit, like right in here. Right now we'll probably leave that one as well. But this is a hydrangea. This is a phlox. It's a little worse for the wear, but hey, it's hanging in there. It had an oak tree on it, so you know, we'll call that life, proof of life, and that's a win for this season. But anyway, I'll be able to kind of move that lion and lamb back just a little bit, so that'll really open up this area of the walkway a little bit more, especially because this Cosmo, ideally, is that piece of wood for? I have no idea. Anyway, I'm sure it's from something or for something. Let's see. So this lantana, it'll get, trying to think of exactly what the tag says, but I mean, it gets pretty big, and so it'll get about like my hip height, so probably about like 2.5 to 3 feet, 2.5 to 3 feet tall. At least about, I'd say 3 feet tall, and probably about 4 feet wide. So it'll really fill in this whole area right here. And I just set this here for now. That's a candy tuft. It's really pretty. It blooms white. We had a lot of those in our mailbox bed, and that's the only one that survived. I guess it gets way too hot right there by the road, but said it could handle it, from what I remember in research, but I guess between the Georgia sun and Georgia heat and right there by the asphalt, that didn't help anything. So anyway, super pumped about this step. Ideally, once all this kind of breaks down a little bit more, maybe like by the fall, I'll be able, hopefully, I'd love to sooner, but ideally realistically probably by the fall at least of this year, be able to fill this whole bed in with some just really good compost and mulch, so that way it'd be nice and black, really fresh and clean look, and tie into the rest of the beds. So anyway, just wanted to share with you. Still obviously got some cleanup to do in this area, but Lantana has officially been moved. Big win. Those are beasts to move, by the way. Their root systems are no joke. So thank you, Brian, for doing that and handling that. Blueberry bush, hopefully that'll thrive this year. And then ideally, like I said, this will just continue to fill in. It spread pretty good in the first year. So ideally, even by, looks like a weed got in here. Yep, and a little bit of grass. Yeah, like I said, still a little bit of cleanup to do, but it is getting there. But it was kind of small. It filled in like this area initially, and then it like spread this whole area. So maybe even by this coming season, it may even continue to grow. It has little things like this, and it just kind of continues. We have found it continues just to have little babies and little babies. So anyway, as long as it withstands and doesn't succumb to like powdery mildew or anything like that, it's beautiful. It stays beautiful. As long, we have to stay on top of powdery mildew here with the bee balm, but we found that, and our gardenias. So if anybody has any tricks in the South for what they love to use for powdery mildew, we consistently use neem oil. So if anybody uses anything different that is natural, let me know. I'll keep you posted on this new update when we really just finish this off.